we started out as great technicians.
Yep.
Most business owners were really good at the job. They didn't know about financials. They didn't know about leadership. They didn't know about recruiting all-stars. I always say 1 A player equals 3 B players.
Yeah.
And the first thing I learned is performance pay. Have them have skin in the game. And then
Your
I
employees.
learned the employees should all be paid, even the person answering the phones on performance. So that was a game changer. And, in 2017, I started the podcast. I had a guy named Al Levy on, and he wrote a book called The 7-Power Contractor. And he came into my office and said, I could have stole all your inventory with your own forklift and you wouldn't have known. He's like, and I was doing $25 million, but I wasn't keeping a lot. And he said, can I work with you? I ended up giving him over $350,000 over the next 3 years. And he changed my life. We wrote the manuals. We wrote standard operating procedures. He taught me how to delegate. We redid our org chart. And now, a lot of people brag about revenue. And here's what I learned. Revenue is for vanity and profit is for sanity.
Yeah.
And we are, on the $200 million, we're at 23% EBITDA. And we're going to hit 30%. So now I've learned when you get into a room with people, talk about profit instead of revenue, because everybody kind of holds up their chest and beats it and says, here's how much revenue we're bringing
in real estate, the same thing with doors, right? I've got 10,000 doors, which is true, but doesn't say anything about profit. I could be making zero money on 10,000 doors, and the guy who owns one duplex that's making $500 a month is doing significantly better than me, like Alex.
My real estate does real well.
Yeah. It's easy to get caught up in those vanity metrics and to say number of doors, top line revenue. I hate the conversation of bragging about top line revenue. I'm just like, well, it's completely irrelevant. Like it doesn't really matter unless you're valuing a company, in a startup that says we're going to pay you whatever 10x whatever your top line is, which happens. But
it's crazy. But the world is changing. Yeah, I'll say this: as interest rates go up, you're gonna. I was just talking to a buddy about this. He's sold his company for $200 million. And he goes, if you're not a really great, well-oiled machine, the multiples are going down significantly because it costs way more. The way private equity works is they need to borrow money most of the time to buy businesses. So with my deal, literally last summer, and I'm bouncing all over the place.
Please.
But
it's all right, man. It's a real conversation. I love it.
Last summer, I had a buddy come out on my board, and his name's Tom Howard. And he goes, listen, I told you never to sell your company because you got a cash cow. He goes, how many letter of intents do you have out? I said, I have 12. He goes, how do you plan on paying for all those? I said, well, I got a $30 million delayed draw term loan from BMO, but they want a 90-day seasoning between companies.
So you're buying for you to go out and buy companies.
I could go buy a company, but they wanted 90 days of financials. They wanted to see it was great before they give me another one. So I was kind of, and not to mention I had 47 other NDAs. So I have more opportunities than I have money.
Yep.
And he said, listen, we went to a place called Oregano's. We had dinner. We went home and whiteboarded and watched the movie The Big Short. Yep. And he said, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And he said, I think you could get a really good multiple for your company, but you've got much more upside by buying these companies. There's a word, my favorite word in the English dictionary is arbitrage. And so what I figured out was I'm going to do a deal. And we went into it was crazy. I lost a little bit of hair through the process. I got alopecia and I couldn't sleep, and it was stressful because, with a transaction of this size, more than $500 million, it was stressful. And they looked into every nook and cranny. I had to have somebody go through all my social media, delete any politics, all the stuff. And but it worked out. I got a great partner, Cortec. I rolled 47% into the new deal. And out of the A1 transaction, we had an equity incentive program, which I'm really proud of. 25 millionaires came out of it.
Wow.
So,
dude, that's amazing.
You listening?
I can't give you equity of a nonprofit, but we're getting there, man. Dude, that's unreal. And that's something I don't think people think about enough when it comes to growing a company and then selling it or selling part of it, is that it's the people you make wealthy along the way. It's 100%. Not just you, it's you're sharing.
Well, I was thinking I could have had a little flute of champagne at the top of the mountain, or we could be sharing a Magnum bottle with a lot of great people.
Yeah.
When I did that, I didn't know what I did that because I saw people put their blood, sweat, and tears into the company.
Yep.
But what happened was now everybody's rowing in the same direction. They're working nights, weekends to get this deal wrapped up. And we went literally from 14 million EBITDA to 27 million in 1 year.
Wow.
And now our goal is to grow 30% organically per year and grow 30% through acquisitions. And over a 3-year period, which PE will hold for 3 years because of capital gains treatment, 110 is my number, 110 million, and I'd like to have a couple billion out of that. And in the process, make hundreds of millionaires this time.
Yeah.
And then I want to do it again. And that's what my passion is taking companies, and I only look at 4 KPIs. I look a lot into the financials, but I could fix any company in the world with these 4 KPIs.
And what?
I need to look at your average ticket. I need to look at your
ticket. What do you mean by that?
Average ticket, so average sale, average household ticket.
Okay.
And include zeros in that, because a lot of people don't include zeros, which is a mistake. The next one I look at is conversion rate.
Okay.
What's your conversion rate? The next one I look at is your call booking rate or form fills, however you take leads in. It could be through ClickFunnels. It could be an online site. Could be anything. Could be a dental office. And the fourth one is your cost per acquisition, CPA. And if I know those 4 things, I could almost fix any one of those. But I find one of them, usually the booking rate, is in the gutter.
Yep.
It's like at 60, 50. So the national average booking rate of home service companies is 42%. Mine's 87.7.
What does booking rate look like? I mean, like they call you and then you have an appointment with them.
You got to book the appointment. So usually people want to know, hey, I got a broken spring, or I'm looking for a door quote over the phone, and I need to know what your service call is. So I found that a $40 service call is a good one, but we'll waive it if we're in the area. I don't want to lose the job. So many people right now, they're complaining about, I'm not getting as many leads. What's going on? Well, no shit. It's not COVID anymore. The demand's slowing down. And they want to complain about Bidenomics. They want to complain about Ukraine, Russia. They want to complain about China. They want to complain about all these things that they can't. They don't have any stake in the out. They can't fix it.
Yeah.
What about the things you can control? Like for garage doors, they said you'll never be able to sell a service agreement. We have 34,500 service agreements at $12 a month.
Wow.
Per household. And they said you'll never be able to do financing. And we never call it financing. We call it promotions. And now 30% of our transactions go through financing. And so I studied HVAC is how we learned. And then it's interesting. So after I met Al Levy, I started the podcast. Al said, hey, listen, you're a premium company. I don't like your raps. He said, it doesn't really pop to me. So I hired a guy called Dan Antonelli, and his company's called Kick Charge. And he said, why do you have all this stuff on the side of your truck? We know you do springs, rollers, cables, bearings. Get rid of that. Don't put the BBB. Don't put Angie's List. Don't put Yelp. Just put what you do and have it pop. So we put like a caricature of my face, and it could be anybody. And once I got the brand dialed and the core values, mission, vision, and made the website look like the truck, look like the yard signs, look like the sticker, it created this brand that not only lowered my marketing cost, it raised my price book, but it also became a recruiting machine. Like Dan, I think, is the best in the world at branding home service companies. He's done, if you name a massive $1 billion company, he's probably done it. And people always go, why would I spend $30,000 on that? I go, well, you're gambling with your whole life, your family's life.
Yeah. Don't
you want to be a premium brand that you cannot show up, like you said, in a not good-looking truck without a good uniform? It allows so many things. It's the best ROI you'll ever get is branding your company correctly. That's where I think marketing starts. I wanted to be a dentist, and then I went and interned with a dentist, and he said, I'm still in debt. I'm 47 years old, and it took a long time to get here. And home service to me is essential. AI is not going to replace home service anytime soon. And not to mention, there's a lot of competitors, but I just feel like if you do the things that I've learned, it took me 17 years to learn these things: standard operating procedures, delegation, manuals, the right branding. And the one thing that I think A1 is different from most companies is we could build technicians. So if I'm at a restaurant and I meet an awesome busboy who's hustling, smiling, just very attentive, I'm recruiting that guy. I'm taking a selfie. I'm getting his cell phone number, texting him a picture and saying, I'd love for you to do a ride along. Now, he won't respond. The next day, I'll get a testimonial from one of my guys talking about this busboy. Hey, Greg, you need to do a ride along, bro. I just bought a house. I'm making $120,000 a year. I got the full benefits. And if guys hit the Pinnacle Club, they get equity in the company. So, like, it's freaking awesome. Who's going to make that? And here's a cool thing. You can work 5 days a week. You're not putting in 60 hours. It's way different than the restaurant life. I know because I did it for a long time. And so I'm a hardcore recruiter. People say always be closing. I say always be recruiting. And when I get the best of the best, it's amazing. I got a text message strand with like 10 of my top guys. Yesterday, 2 guys each did over 40 grand each. That's unheard of. In most, roofing, you'll get that, sometimes HVAC, but in garage doors. And it's not even about the money. It's just about the success. Like, we hired a dream manager, and we ask every single employee, we sit down and we get, what's your dreams? What are your goals? What's your bucket list? What do you care about? Do you want to take your dad on a fishing trip? Do you want to take your wife to renew your vows? Do you want to take your kids to Disney World? If we focus on what they want and helping them achieve what they want and peel back that onion and have them dream again, we could move oceans. I mean, it's crazy what they'll do. So we created a calculator to show all your performance pay, and if you do this, we'll help you get your goal quicker. So therefore, when they win, we celebrate. So I don't mind if a guy makes 300 grand because I know we're all doing good.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, man, this guy makes more than me. And I'm like, well, you set up the commission structure, the performance pay. So you should be happy when people make great money.
Yep.
That's the one thing is, like, I love to be able to take care of our people. That's the most important thing. People say the clients are the most important thing, but when you got the great internal clients, everything goes smoother.
Yep.
They'll recruit for you. They'll go get clients for you. They'll pass out cards at gas stations. Like, it's incredible what our team does, and I'll bleed for our team. They all know I'll do anything. Like, they're the most important thing for me is taking care of the people that I work with.